There are bad leaders in Igbo language. There are bad leaders in Yoruba. There are bad leaders in Fulani. There are bad leaders everywhere. So what I'm asking this set of people is that if we get a leader that can actually transform Nigeria from its chaos, are we going to reject him just because he bears an Igbo origin? You that says you don't want an Igbo man to be the president of Nigeria, you are the same person that cries, one Nigeria, the unity of Nigeria is sacrosanct, Nigeria is an indivisible entity, blah, 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 all these rhetorics that suggest that one part of the country will rule, the other ones you follow. These are the same people that will cry wolf when an Igbo man says, break the country and let us go. What exactly is going on here? Why are this set of people so intoxicated with the idea that the leadership of this country must belong to a certain portion of this country, while the rest of us play the act of sit down and look? Let me tell you what is going on here. Now, trust me, I am not saying this to market the Igbos. There are bad leaders in Igbo language. There are bad leaders in Yoruba. There are bad leaders in Fulani. There are bad leaders everywhere. You see, a lot of you are not ready yet for this country to transform itself. They say Nigeria is a giant of Africa. But clearly, from what I've seen, Nigeria is the Peking of Africa. There is nothing about Nigeria right now that anyone can be proud of. I don't hate Tinubu. I dislike Tinubu. There's a sharp difference between hatred and dislike. And why do I dislike Tinubu? I dislike him because of what he represents. He represents criminality, deceit, and shortcut to getting what you want. A man who says you have to grab something, snatch something, and run away with it. That's a criminal mentality. Yes, Nigeria is a multilingual entity, about 375 ethnic nationalities, which somehow the colonial masters forcefully brought together. Now, if we must make this country work, we must establish a sense of equity, justice. We must take away and get rid of this undue ethnic bias. Now, I said in my previous video that anywhere in Africa where one tribe assumed itself as more populous do have the tendency to dominate those they perceive as less populous, and they refer to them as minorities. So, if we have a country where disqualification of a leader is based on the ethnicity we identify himself with, it still means we are still living in the Stone Age. We are not ready to, to embrace the ideals of a 21st century civilization. Now, if you bring somebody else that is better, fine. Even if it's a Yoruba man, if you bring a Yoruba man that is better than Peter Obi right now, I will switch my support. It's not about tribe. Those who base their preferences on tribe are still living in the dark ages of primitivity. You have to be better than that. You have to, if you bring the worst Yoruba man today to compete with Peter Obi, I will campaign against that Yoruba man. But if I assess that the Yoruba man is better than Peter Obi, I will campaign for the Yoruba man. This is 2025 for crying out loud. I still find it difficult to think that people are still moved or defined by their ethnic thoughts. My brother, when I reform my hand, So you really think that Tinubu 8 years, Tinubu 4+4? I still tell you, whether Tinubu rule 8 years or 12 years or become life president, I still tell you, now your people go still go internet, go they shout a being power.
My problem with these kind of efforts is that we have consistently become superficial. And you journalists need to interrogate some of these issues beyond the North and South issue. I'm not dismissing it, but I'm saying that we have been trapped into this North and South to the extent that we have forgotten that we have a country to build, a country to live in, a country that we hope will survive and thrive. Therefore, I would always want us to shift from the more conventional discussion to interrogate the issues further. And in this respect, if you permit me, I have three things that I want to draw our attention to. One, don't forget that there are many northern political elite that have moved into the APC planning to support the presidency of Bola Tinubu. Some of them, in fact, came out to make a statement that there is no vacancy in Aso Rock. This statement, I was hoping that your team should invite those who make those statements to come and say exactly what they mean. Because as far as I know, there is nothing like this in our constitution. So that statement is unconstitutional. It is undemocratic. It is unintelligible. Therefore, these are the kind of things we allow to simply spread. And in any case, it is so is exhausted. It's a term that Chief Tony Anini actually used when he was promoting the third term of Obasanjo. I thought they would be more creative. After 20 years, they are repeating the same kind of thing over and over again. Now, let me come back to the three issues about it, and I hope you permit me to make this point before you go further. One, these people who move from one party to the other, including those who come to the coalition, there is something that we need to ask. Why is it that people easily move from the parties from which they have been elected to move to other parties and there are no consequences, even though the laws that we are supposed to operate, have made provision for these kind of consequences? One of the things that I think we need to take note of and to discuss is the fact that our parties are completely empty. They have no content, they have no conscience, they have no courage. They don't represent anything. Take let's start with the opposition party. Take the opposition party, the biggest one, the PDP. What does it represent? When you mention PDP, what comes to your mind? What idea? Is there any idea that you can actually relate to? Is there anything that PDP represents beyond the personal interest of politicians who use the platform to grab power and then to continue doing the same kind of thing that APC is doing? The same APC, if you speak of APC, what do you see? There is no idea that I can really relate to APC. There is no particular policy, there is no particular developmental issue they are not like talking about the environment, they are not talking about development, basically what comes to mind when you look at the face of APC is the face of a person who has been caught on secret cameras, taking dollars and putting in his pocket. So maybe those who are moving into APC might have been attracted by those dollars, or thinking that once they are there, their problems, will be solved. Personal problems, I must say. Therefore, we need to also look at the fact that the implication of all this is that we have left the politics of big ideas. We are basically stuck with the politics of big men. So we start talking of personalities moving here. What does it matter if one person moves from one party to the other if the parties are all empty? That's not the issue. The fact that there are no ideas, there is no conversation about the problems of this country. Even in the coalition, I don't think they speak about the real dangers that this country is facing. The mounting insecurity, the joblessness of young people, the lack of industries, to do production so that the country can be wealthy. The fact that we lose nearly 350,000 hectares every year to desert encroachment. The fact that we have got a deficit of grain of about 30 million metric tons. With the floods that happened last rainy season, I'm not sure that figure will remain there. It's most likely going to go up. You look at our other parameters, very similar to the war-torn countries like Southern Sudan, Syria, and others. Why are the politicians not speaking about these ideas? They are only speaking about, oh, we have this former governor of this, ex-vice, this and that, and this man. What does it really matter? What ideas are they carrying? What difference does it make if they are in this party or they are in that party? It's the same thing that we see. So I'm not impressed with a coalition that is just out to take power from the incumbent. I would be impressed if that coalition represents an alternative to what we are having now, an alternative to the pains that this country is going through, and an alternative to this hyperinflation, an alternative to the excessive corruption, an alternative to the insecurity that is basically bringing this country down to its knees, an alternative to the escalation of cost of energy that makes it impossible for anybody to set up an industry. So these are
very
the kind
valid
of foundation that I expect.
Thank you.
Generally, and this is my last point on that, if you please, the fact that 25 years of development has not delivered, of democracy has not delivered development. Look at all the indices. We are going down the drain. The country is getting poorer. Hunger, pain, disease, poverty is what is increasing. We must ask ourselves, what is wrong with the kind of democracy we are running? What is wrong with the kind of way we are doing things? These are the kind of conversations, honestly, about it that I think we should be engaged. If XYZ, former governor, former this, wants to be in coalition, it's his business. If he wants to be in APC, it's his business. What I care for, what does he represent? What does he want to do? How can his movement from one place to the other, really create the kind of, can create the kind of changes that we are looking forward to. Remember, this country is...
Hi, my people, welcome back. I know say all of Nagudan here, the thing we see, they go on for this video. Though, the problem we get for this country, but now be issue of ethnicity and many other things we say we think about state. Now no say don't say we say okay Igbo don't reach. Not as if okay person they come out and say okay make the carry presidency give Igbo. We are not like telling you guys to give presidency to the Igbo by all means. But what we are trying to tell you guys is that let them try, even though another people from Urobo or Ishakiri now then go feed this country when me they give any of them will be say okay you go fit deliver well, make it not come be like say this country now they behind, because the way this country they go so this country don't they go behind. Well if you look at or listening to what in this man way they show for my screen said, even talk and say make Kuna stop the issue of South and North, so we say they always trend when it comes to political issue. And that thing we say that they talk in the truth. Say anytime we say they won't talk about election, that they always bring South and North come on board, and that thing is nothing. Say this country and country we say okay, I don't talk and say now one country where in be waiting can be South and North we say okay that they always they carry and they come on board every time now. So what we need now be anybody we say okay go fit come, even though not from the minority now go fit come from where we say okay go fit do what Nigerians need. May they just give them space, may they give the person space so that this country go deal with, because the betterment of this country now everybody need. No be like today use sentimental and tribal war to like carry this country go behind. No be waiting we need be that. Even as Tinubu is ruling now, with some other people they complain say what Tinubu is doing is not doing well. He get like some Yoruba, so we say they no say even what Tinubu is doing is not doing it, and it's not doing well, and they are not supporting what Tinubu is doing. That is where you say some people they get that mindset of dropping sentiment of tribal sentiment. I mean to say they get that mindset of dropping it aside now. So if you indeed want this country to be better, you should follow some Yorubas and some Igbos. So we say okay, they don't already drop the sentiment of it in aside for us to get a better nation. Now we see they pray for. So and for you we will say okay, they hear us now. If you get anything, we say okay, you want to talk concerning this, make you drop your own thoughts for inside comment section. And also if not today be your first time, please like our video, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you all.